Hey, what's up, people? Piz out here, and I know I had talked about doing a Dark Knight Rises critique review, some sort of video talking about the Dark Knight Rises, and I'm going to do that now. But honestly, I mean, it feels like, you know, the moment's passed. It's been a week since I saw the film. I had thought about going to watch it again. And I may still before it leaves the theater, but I really don't. I'm really not that motivated to go watch it again, to be honest. Which is odd because, like right after watching The Dark Knight, I was ready to watch it in the theater again, and I watched it at least twice, if not three times, in the theater before it left. Now, I'm not trying to compare The Dark Knight Rises to The Dark Knight. Even though they're in the same trilogy of movies, The Dark Knight Rises is a solid, really good movie. It's a very good bookend to the Christopher Nolan Batman saga. It is the darkest of the three films. It's the bleakest of the three films. It's the most violent of the three films. It's the most brutal of the three films. Huge body count. So much so, like I mentioned in my video about the shootings at the Colorado Theater, that it kind of disturbed my girlfriend, who wasn't really, I'm not sure exactly what she was expecting from that movie, but I know that sort of the violence and stuff kind of disturbed her a little bit. But yeah, I mean, definitely this isn't, if you saw any of the Chris Nolan Batman movies, this isn't, they really try and strive for realism, and they pulled that off with this series. Christopher Nolan, his brother Jonathan Nolan, who wrote the films, co-wrote the films, I should say, did an excellent job lending as much realism and as much just gritty, raw realism as possible to the series. Like I said, I mean, a good solid bookend. The end of the film, I felt moved. I felt emotional at the end of the movie. Just to sort of look back on, the saga of the Christopher Nolan Batman series and the way that this one ended. I really kind of felt emotional at the end of it. Is it the best entry in the series? In my opinion, no. It's the second best. I think Dark Knight is still, I think, the most entertaining, the most rewatchable of that series, and that, of course, is due in large part to Heath Ledger's portrayal of the Joker. Not to say anything against Tom Hardy and his portrayal of Bane. I will say this for Bane, the weird voice, not sure what they were shooting for with that weird voice. Some of the stuff he said was kind of hard to understand, but he was cunning, intelligent, yet at the same time just a complete badass, brutal, blunt, violent, intimidating, scary guy. I did feel in the final act he was neutered big time, and his fate was very ho-hum. Let's just leave it at that. The biggest surprise of the film, I thought, was really Anne Hathaway's portrayal of the Catwoman, which I'm not the biggest Anne Hathaway fan. When I heard that she'd been cast as a Catwoman, when I saw pictures of her in the Catwoman costume, I thought, realism kind of went out the window here, didn't it? But she did an excellent job. She did an excellent job, an excellent portrayal of the Catwoman. The Catwoman was multifaceted. The Catwoman was, a torn, character, and I really liked that. She did an excellent job. Of course, Christian Bale, great as Batman. If it showed, we all know Batman is, he's a superhero without superpowers, and in this movie that kind of caught up with him as far as the injuries that he sustained throughout his career as a crime fighter. I thought that was very cool, that aspect of it. And they captured something in this film that was prevalent in the comic books when I was a comic reader of the Batman series, and that was the fact that Batman slash Bruce Wayne was perpetually teetering on the brink of madness. You know, he'd gotten to the point where he didn't know where Batman began and Bruce Wayne ended, and you know which one was the true person. You know, was he a crime fighter or was he just a vigilante bent on vengeance? And that was cool. They brought that into the Dark Knight Rises. The best acting in the whole film, I felt, really went to Alfred, played by Michael Caine. Awesome actor, solid in everything I've seen him in. This one, though, I felt like he kind of stole the show. There was a lot going on in this one. A lot of the characters sort of felt they were in and out. Morgan Freeman's character was really kind of in and out. Gary Oldman's character was really kind of in and out. It seemed like Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, who is sort of, as I'm sure all of you have heard, you know, they've built him to you know take the reins as Gotham's you know, knight in shining black armor or some other color after Batman. So he was good. Of course, Joseph Gordon-Levitt is good in everything. But Michael Caine, you know, he didn't have a whole lot, but what he had was, you know, he made shine. Definitely at the end of the movie, toward the end of the movie, definitely felt for him in a big way. The end of the movie, the way they closed it, the way they closed the book on this series, I thought was totally apropos. Just perfect. So yeah, I mean, I really can't say enough good things about The Dark Knight Rises. Highly recommend it if you're a fan of the Christopher Nolan Batman series. I'm sure at this point you've already seen it. You've probably seen it twice, maybe. I'm not sure. Do think it is the second best of the series. A close second to The Dark Knight Rises. Can't leave out Batman Begins, also very good movie. Actually, The Dark Knight Rises sort of harkens back to Batman Begins far more than to do with The Dark Knight, really. Having to do with well, I won't give anything away. There was one character in the film who, without giving anything away, their sort of turn in the last act didn't feel sort of natural. Didn't feel, I don't know. It didn't. If you saw the movie, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. It was I don't know. It just kind of didn't work for me. It seemed to kind of take the heat away from where it should have been and put it someplace else and just sort of cast aside where the film really trying hard not to give anything away here, but if you saw the film, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, I'm not going to speak anymore. There's kind of a twist toward the end of the movie that I really didn't buy, but anyway, didn't really enjoy. Didn't buy. I bought it, but I didn't really enjoy it. But anyway, yeah, Dark Knight Rises. Enjoyed the movie. Highly recommend it. It's a sad day that we're gonna, I'm gonna miss the Christopher Nolan Batman saga. It ended as it should, though. I will say that. And for God's sake, Warner Brothers, do not attempt to reboot the Batman series. You've got the Superman reboot coming out pretty soon, Man of Steel. Christopher Nolan produced it, or he's producing. I think maybe he co-wrote it. I don't remember. I don't recall. There was a trailer for it at the beginning of The Dark Knight Rises, and I actually thought it looked pretty good. So go with that. Go with that series. Leave Batman alone. Let him, let Batman be where he is now, and just let that series kind of rest in peace, because you're not going to top it. You're just not going to top it. So don't even try. All right. Laid back little critique, thoughts on The Dark Knight Rises. Hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, take it easy and peace.